Well, we haven't seen the last or heard the last of George just yet. The former hurricane will be spreading rain again in the southeast and could still possibly spawn tornadoes. And we do have one tornado in Florida. Good morning and welcome to Weather Center, which is sponsored by Tempstar. I'm Mike Motley.
And I'm Mark Mancuso. Summer-like weather will be fading away from the northern plains as cold air pushes south. And as that cold air pushes south, you could see severe weather in some places. St. Louis could see storms late today ahead of the cold air pushing in. Dallas, on the other hand, will keep hot and sunny conditions for another day. Minneapolis will get showers as the cool air comes rushing in. And Boston should be mostly dry and mostly cloudy. Mike has more on the northeast.
And cloudy and cool into the northeast. We're seeing some light showers around the region and cool temperatures throughout the day with a little sunshine, but kind of fall-like into the northeast, just not crisp and clear as we were hoping to look at those fall leaves, as that's not yet. Looking at 55 right now in Boston, 63. In New York City, Albany at 54, and Burlington, Vermont at 57. Up in Caribou, we're looking at 48 degrees, and back towards Pittsburgh, 59. You can see the clouds over the region, cloudy skies for the most part throughout the northeast, with some clearing into portions of Virginia and back into West Virginia, but along the coast a little bit cloudier. And we're seeing scattered light to moderate showers and into the mid-Atlantic, light rain around Washington, D.C. and on its way around Baltimore in the western suburbs. A little heavier cells pushing it off into the Chesapeake Bay. The heaviest rain back into North Carolina. Mark will tell you more about that. And the rain in the southeast. Into the Midwest, a mix of clear skies in the middle section to partly cloudy and mostly cloudy into Missouri, into Kansas, and into Minnesota. And behind our frontal boundary into the northeast, we're seeing a band of light to moderate showers, some heavier embedded rainfall into the region too. Taking a closer look at areas into the Midwest, we are seeing a long band of very heavy thunderstorms in Kansas from Wichita to south of Emporia, and the rain shield over towards Kansas City and St. Joseph. And looking over towards central Missouri, I want to say, we're seeing some showers and heavy thunderstorms in between Rolla and Farmington, south of St. Louis. And into the upper Midwest, the showers in front of, that's behind a cold front moving through the region, and a little bit heavier rainfall towards St. Cloud, and that rain shield along I-35 in between Duluth down towards Minneapolis, St. Paul. There's the front and the showers associated with it, and a little fog into northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, into northwest Indiana and west central Michigan. Temperatures: Minneapolis at 53, Chicago at 62, we're at 68 at Kansas City and St. Louis, Cincinnati 59, Cleveland 57, and International Falls, Chile 46. Now, with a look at the southeast, here's Mark.
And even as the remnants of George heads out of the U.S., people in the southeast will have to guard against its side effects. Isolated tornadoes will still be possible, and certainly more rain. Also, if you live in low-lying areas of the south, you may find rivers and streams flooding long after George is gone. And here's what's left of George, sitting very close to the border of Alabama, Georgia, and northwest Florida there. And it's just kind of drifting its way eastward. And again, on the east side of our circulation center, this is where we find the bulk of the moisture, the clouds, and the rain. And on the west side of it, we have the dry flow, and we are looking at a very warm day on tap from Birmingham westward to Dallas. But as we take a look at our satellite radar composite, you can see our circulation center right here, but most of the significant heavy weather is well to the east of that, and that's now spiraling up through North Florida and southeast Georgia in the form of rain and some scattered thunderstorms. Notice off to the west, dry air has moved in, and thousands of Mississippi and Alabama residents are surveying the damage caused by the hurricane. And the persons who evacuated areas are returning home to find downed power lines and trees outside or on top of their homes. And dozens of Red Cross volunteers are helping the recovery effort. The Red Cross is also initiating a $50 million fundraising effort to help George's victims. So that was the scene in Biloxi, Mississippi. Flood watches are farther east in southeast Georgia and in northeast Florida, where we see the heavier rains. Off to the west, though, no flood watches, but still the problems with that water coming down into the area's streams and creeks and rivers. So the flooding will continue for many more days. That circulation around George, we still have that water getting piled up in the northeast Gulf of Mexico, so coastal flood watches continue. Tornado watches out for southeast Georgia and northeast Florida. And looking at the radar here, we still see bands of intense showers here to the east of George, and we still have short-lived tornadoes developing in this band right here. Present time, we do have a tornado warning in effect near Lake City in Columbia, Gilchrist, and Suwannee County, so please be on the alert for damaging winds coming on short notice. Farther north, just a few light showers this morning for Atlanta, showers pulling away from Charlotte. Heavy rains now tapering off in Raleigh, but still very wet around Virginia Beach. To the west, that is where we find the lightning, and most of that lightning is out here across Kansas and Missouri, and Mike told you more about these storms that moved through Missouri and Kansas this morning. South of here, the dry conditions continue, and yesterday we had record heat. Wichita, Garden City, Houston, Galveston, and in Charleston, way over in South Carolina. This morning, it's a mild morning in the south, and it's going to be a very hot, maybe record-breaking day today in Dallas, Memphis, and Houston, as we get a dry northerly flow on the west side of what's left of George. And on the east side of what's left of George, lots of clouds and some locally heavy downpours of rain, especially southeast Georgia and northeast Florida, where we do have that potential for tornadoes. Now looking west, this is one heck of a cold surge of air coming down from Canada, and this will really let you know what season it truly is. It is autumn, and it's coming on with a vengeance. In the northeast, some showers moving through upstate New York and northern New England today. New York and Boston should be mostly dry and mostly cloudy. Scattered showers, maybe a thunder shower this morning, Philly and Washington, D.C. Looking west, Chicago, St. Louis, showers and storms a good bet as that powerful cold front comes through with a vengeance. Behind it, windy and turning cooler and wet in Minneapolis today. And in the south, there's your hot one, Memphis, Dallas, and New Orleans. And to the east of Atlanta and Charlotte, that's where you'll see the bulk of the rain.
Well, coming up, we'll have Travel Eyes with your looking at what to expect if you're traveling soon.
Okay, so stay with us for that. Now coming up, your local forecast.
This program was sponsored by Tempstar Heating and Cooling Products.
Before your high-efficiency Tempstar furnace ever reaches your home, it's been put through some of the industry's toughest quality testing. Before your Tempstar tackles winter's worst, we've already added the two most important internal parts, heart and soul. Before it reaches the skilled hands of your Tempstar dealer, we've lived up to our heritage of quality that dates back more than 100 years. You don't have time for the whole story, but we know you love the ending. Tempstar Furnaces, quality you can feel.
Call your local Tempstar dealer today and ask about the new Smart Comfort gas furnace or heat pump.
A house call with Dr. T. Barry Brazelton.
Don't rush your toddler into toilet training or let anyone else tell you it's time. No. It's got to be his choice. So I'm glad there's finally a bigger diaper for growing toddlers. What a big help and a terrific idea. Now he can decide for himself when the time is right. It's got to be his achievement, no one else's.
Introducing Pampers Size 6, specially designed for growing toddlers.
2 tickets, $28. 2 hot dogs, 2 popcorns, and 2 sodas, $18. 1 autographed baseball, $45. Real conversation with 11-year-old son, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted all over, even Major League ballparks.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone. Make this your October routine. When you change your clocks back, change your antifreeze with Prestone.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
remnants of George are proving to be almost as much of a headache as the original hurricane. Southeast will have another day of potentially heavy rain and flooding. Good morning and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Mark Mancuso.
And I'm Mike Motley. If you didn't know the season it was, you'd have no doubt in the northern half of the country it would feel like it is fall. A jolt of Canadian air is coming into the country and very chilly there, even the northern tier right now. Looking into the northeast, the temperatures are not bad. We're at 54 in Caribou right now, 65 in Boston, 68 in New York City, 70 in Washington, D.C., and Pittsburgh at 67. We're seeing mostly cloudy skies into the northeast today and a little bit on the cool side. Not as cold as the northern tier into the Midwest. We're seeing scattered showers in between our frontal boundaries into the east, and much of it light to moderate rainfall, and our cold front coming down will give you some cool temperatures, especially in northern Maine over the next few days. Light showers around the region along the New York State Thruway, also showers down around Philadelphia and into southern New Jersey, very light and tracking off towards the east. And the satellite shows the cloud cover over much of the region a little bit clearer now into Virginia and West Virginia. Heavier clouds and showers pushing off into the Atlantic Ocean. Into the Midwest, more growing cloud cover over Illinois. It's very cloudy over Missouri, over Kansas, and also into Wisconsin. In the same area, we're seeing showers and a frontal boundary bringing rainfall here. An embedded line of some thunderstorms into western Wisconsin, pushing into northern Iowa. A heavy rain shield into central and southwestern Missouri. We're seeing some heavy rain there today, and with some light showers off into northern Michigan. Here's a view of the heartland, and we're seeing dry conditions around Emporia and the rain leaving Kansas City, but still a heavy band of showers towards Nevada into southwestern Missouri, and showers on the way towards central Missouri and the Lake of the Ozarks in St. Louis. Might even see a thunderstorm in St. Louis. Into the northern tier, cool temperatures here behind our front, light showers pushing off in the north woods of Wisconsin. There's the front and the showers in advance of it, and some fog on the southern tip of Lake Michigan. Here are the temperatures. 37 at Minot right now, Bismarck at 45, Chicago at 66, St. Louis 72, Cincinnati 69, and Alpena, Michigan at 52 degrees. What about the south and the rain? Well, here's Mark with a look at that.
And even though the remnants of George are heading out of the U.S., people in the southeast will have to guard against its lingering side effects. Isolated tornadoes will still be possible, and definitely more rain. And some residents of states hit by Hurricane George are getting a chance to return home and assess damage. Many are finding floodwaters won't let them return. Additional flooding could be a problem for a while. Rivers and streams could still rise long after the system is gone. As we take a look to the south, still flood watches for parts of Georgia and Florida, where you see the green here. Heading west, well, it has dried out on the west side of George, but on the east side of it, moisture from the Gulf still coming in, and this is where we see the bulk of the rain. Where is the circulation center? It's right here on our satellite. Here's Panama City, and there's where we find our swirl in the low clouds, and this is where we also have the lowest pressure. So there's your circulation center easing its way through the Florida Panhandle. Out ahead of it, we're pumping up the moisture, and there you can see the bands of clouds coming into Florida. And with these bands in place, there will be the potential for severe storms and maybe isolated tornadoes this afternoon. On the west side of George, look at this, clear as a bell, and with the northerly flow, it is going to be hot here today. To the east, though, rain and plenty of it. We've been looking at downpours this morning in North Florida. And again, we'll watch these bands. See them kind of curling here? That means there is potential there could be some damaging winds with some of these. So residents of North Florida want to keep a close eye on the radars and keep in tune with the National Weather Service warnings, because you could have severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings on short notice. Atlanta, Charlotte, not too much happening here. East of these cities, that's where we see the scattered showers, and the heavy rain over Raleigh and Norfolk earlier has now moved out. Temperatures are really rising. Little Rock, Dallas, and New Orleans probably get into record territory in this area today. To the west, pleasant morning in Los Angeles. Seattle looks nice. Denver 53. But in the mountains, it's a little bit chillier than this. And check this out. We know it's fall, but some parts of Colorado are having a look of winter. This is Mount Evans, where the higher elevations are under a dusting of snow. Highway 5 was closed yesterday above the 10,000-foot level, 2 days ahead of its annual closing. And if you didn't know what season it was, coming in from the north, a cold front, and behind it, you know what season it is. You know it is autumn. Some very chilly air coming down the front slopes of the Rockies. Same old pesky low hanging out here in Nevada and California, Utah, and around it, a scattering of showers and storms. This is one of those cold core systems, though, so mainly during the afternoon and evening hours is when you see the bulk of the shower and thunderstorm activity, and some of these could pack a punch this afternoon. Farther west, you see a big low swirling in the Gulf of Alaska here, and this has some very cold air associated with it. See a strong jet stream, and there's a powerful cold front out here. So those of you watching from the Pacific Northwest, enjoying your nice late summery air, well, this is the last day of it. This front comes in tomorrow and brings clouds, rain, gusty winds, and falling temperatures. So enjoy another nice day in the Northwest after some patchy morning low clouds and fog. Farther south, a scattering of showers and storms as that low pressure moves slowly east through the Great Basin, and to the east, this cold front will have clouds, rain, and gusty winds in its vicinity. And farther south, where we have a better supply of low-level moisture and better flow in the upper atmosphere, chances are for stronger and maybe severe storms, again from Kansas into Missouri and also dipping down to northern Oklahoma. Remnants of George, they'll be drifting eastward and not northward, so it looks like the bulk of this moisture will head out to sea. Well, up to the north, here comes the cold front, and it will be supported by a very strong jet stream, so there will definitely be wet weather as it slips its way through Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Today, heaviest of the rains moving from Kansas into Missouri and over South Georgia and North Florida, where we could see another 1 to 3 inches of rain. Temperatures hot from Birmingham to Dallas, maybe some record heat in through here, while in the west, pleasant in Seattle and Portland, and across the northern plains, only 40s and 50s today for highs, and tonight, look out. Temperature is dipping from the 40s to the 30s to the 20s, and frost and freeze advisories, they're being issued.
Ooh, I'm not ready for that. At least I'm not there to be there for it. Well, wet weather may complicate travel in North Florida to North Carolina and beyond.
And of course, we'll be checking on the road conditions next on TravelWise.
Well, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us for Storm Watch. Coming up shortly, I'll talk to you a little bit about the chance of severe weather today. Areas of the Intermountain West, the Southeast, also across parts of the Midwest. First of all, let's start out with our tropical update and see what's going on. We do have still plenty of moisture in South Georgia, also North Florida with what's left of George. You can see some of the yellows here indicating the colder cloud tops, and that's usually correlated real well with the heaviest of the rain. So still some rain into South Georgia, North Florida. Earlier today at Live Oak, some people were hurt with tornado touchdowns. So this one has produced some tornadoes. Center circulation actually a bit farther off to the west with all the moisture as it has from pretty much from the beginning on that eastern semicircle. So all the moisture on the right side of the low. Looking at the flood watches and warnings, we do have coastal flood advisory still out for parts of the North Florida coastal areas where we still might see some high water. Speaking of high water, let's check out the latest. This is pretty much the grand total that we're going to find here. Rainfall totals from the Doppler radar. Of course, Pensacola right here and Mobile right here on the northwest side of Mobile Bay. Some of the heaviest rainfall amounts are in these spiked areas here over toward Baldwin County. Some of the Doppler radar estimates 25 inches, and you might wonder why there's a discrepancy with how much the Doppler radar estimated and how much actually fell in the rain bucket. One of the reasons is obviously maybe it missed the rain bucket there. Other reasons, well, the Doppler radar tends to be able to estimate the rain, but with the rain gauge, you're thinking, well, it's going to catch all the rain, not in a hurricane. A lot of times when you have a tropical cyclone, the winds are blowing so hard that the rain is going sideways. So you have this rain gauge. It's hard for the rain to get right down that tube there, and a lot of times it misses a significant amount of rain. So that's one of the reasons for discrepancy. Right now into South Georgia, also North Florida, still a good deal of water coming on down out the Mobile, some false echoes around. Overall, much nicer day than we've seen over the past several. Over to Tallahassee, 1 or 2 isolated showers, but heavier rain heading again out toward Lake City. Thunderstorms just starting to build up again across the Big Bend of Florida. Orlando down to Tampa, okay right now, but you can see a couple showers off to your southwest. Another wet day over to around Jacksonville and actually across South Georgia, way across all the way up to around Savannah. Again, here's some of these rainfall totals that we actually have seen. Crestview with about 18 inches, and we saw there was a little bit of a discrepancy with some of the totals. Doppler estimated about 30 plus. So in some cases, the grand tally was over 30 inches of rain. Looking at the tropics in whole over toward the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean fine, but feature way on out there. I don't know if you can see this right here. Well, that is a tropical storm. That's Jeanne still making the big backward sea hook here, heading up toward the Azores, moving off to the east-northeast at 13 miles per hour. Top sustained winds at 50, and it is still a little ways from the Azores, but the Azores may experience some tropical storm force wind. So again, in the Gulf of Mexico fine, Caribbean fine, there is 1 week disturbance that may do something over the next couple of days, but slow, if anything, over the next couple of days. It won't just pop up. Looking back out across the Far East, right up here across Korea, that is Tropical Storm Jeanne, bringing some winds up to around 50 to 60 miles per hour. It also appears to be curving a little bit now as it's caught up by the westerlies. That may bring some gustier winds up toward the northern part of Honshu. So the main threat with this was gusty winds and really heavy rain. Back out across the continental U.S., we do have some storms today. Intermountain West, much of the Midwest, and also areas of Florida. Lightning data indicating where we do have some active storms into Wisconsin, also into southern areas of Missouri, the Ozarks, also active storms off the coast. 1 or 2 storms still west of Salt Lake at this early morning hour or two. Normally we don't see that. Here's the radar showing the active weather near Wichita, some heavy downpours. Also the storms curving back down toward the Ozarks. So if you're traveling down 44, watch out for the potential of some gusty winds, even some large hail. One of the TV stations out of Missouri did report some large hail and gusty winds as these storms blew through a little while ago. Here's a picture of the whole nation, again, where we're looking for the showers and storms into Kansas and Missouri presently, later today in the Intermountain West. And right now, yes, the rain coming on down, still with potential of some flooding. Here's the picture put back together for you. Coming up next, we'll talk much more about the forecast and the latest current conditions.
The remnants of George threaten parts of Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas with rain and possible tornadoes. An update is next on Weather Center after your local forecast.